Hey, this is John with Olive Grove Woodshop. Today I want to do a follow-up video to the deep dive I did going into LED UV cured hard wax oils and the lights and everything that go with them. If you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend that you watch that first. I'll put a link in the description down below so you can jump over, watch that, and then come back here and we'll talk a little bit more about where I settled everything. Again, in that video, I talked about a couple different options, and I'd said in that video that my favorite by far of all that I tried was the TEMPLETOOLCO version. I'm really happy with it, just all around. Again, watch that earlier video, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But some exciting news on that front is after I did that video, I actually reached out to TEMPLETOOLCO, let them know kind of who I was, what I was doing, and asked if they would be interested in becoming a brand partner. And they were. They sent me a little bit of product to play around with. They've got actually the biggest selection of pre-tinted hard wax oils that you can get that are the UV cure variety, as well as a number of other wood floor finishes and wood floor cleaners and protectants. And for those of you who don't know, most hard wax oils actually were intended to be used for hardwood floor installers and finishers. Many years ago, a woodworker had the bright idea to let me try some of that on a piece of furniture, and that kind of the world of furniture hard wax oils was born. Me, just like everybody else, probably started out with Rubio Monocoat, which is still for your standard hard wax oil finishes by far the best one. But again, I'm very much into the UV cure and everything that comes along with it. So like I said, I reached out to TEMPLETOOLCO. They were really great to talk with, and we kind of talked a little bit more about their products and everything, and it just seemed like a really great fit to start working together. So I'm very excited to be a partner with them. And real quick on that note, I know some people kind of frown upon anyone making YouTube videos that has sponsors and wants to say they're selling out, but the bottom line is you don't get paid to do this till you're very far down the road. And just like any other woodworker, I don't have unlimited funds, so anything I can do to help get me a better price on things or get me some new products to try, I'm all for it. And what I can promise you is any company that I partner with, I'm either already using their products or I've always wanted to and just haven't had the chance. I've actually said no to a couple now. I'm not going to go into who that was, but honestly, I wasn't into their products or their tools, and so it didn't make sense. But again, I'm really excited about partnering with TEMPLETOOLCO. They were nice enough to set me up as a brand affiliate and give me a discount code that I can share with everybody. The link for that's in the description below. So, again, not only do I get discounted products, but I'm able to pass some of those savings along to any of my subscribers and people who watch my videos. So honestly, it's a win-win for everybody around. All right. So all that said, we can kind of get into it a little bit. What I have here is just a piece of walnut. It's leftover veneer that I had resawn for another project. So one of the first things when it comes to hard wax oils, if you read a lot of the literature with the actual manufacturer, most of them will tell you only need to sand at like 120, 180. But again, these were intended for hardwood floors, not furniture. You do want to take it a little bit higher. Some of that, for me, I feel is a judgment call. So a lot of people that are new to woodworking and also some of these more quote unquote exotic finishes is, especially with hard wax oils, is they work by actually absorbing into the pores of the wood to give you that kind of maximum level of protection. And for the more open grained wood, you can and you should take them to a higher grit. I'll usually take something that's got good open grains, like a white oak, things like that. I'll take up to like a 320. Your kind of run of the mill walnut can kind of sometimes, and even this piece here, there's some areas that are actually up here that have a little bit more open grain, and then when you get in around the curls from these limb inclusions, the grain starts to tighten up for sure. But walnut, I'll usually take it to like 220, 240. This piece here, I actually took it down to 220, which is going to be more than enough. But again, if you sand it too much to too high of a grit, you're effectively closing off those pores, and you're only getting a piece of the protection that you ought to be. So it's a little bit of a judgment call, but again, the more open grain, the higher the grit you can go. The tighter the grain, stick to the lower grits, and definitely, go through sand through your grits, working up to that, water pop between grits. You're still going to get some lift of some of the wood fibers, and that's fine because the way that I apply this finish, you're able to kind of knock that stuff back, and it's not a big deal at all. So All that said, again, I got this nice piece of walnut veneer that I'm using as a test sample. Very important is PPE. So you definitely want to wear gloves when you're working with these UV cured finishes. They'll burn your skin a little bit. It's not bad, but like, you got it on you. So as with anything else, PPE is a big deal. When you're firing up your lights, these UV glasses are a must. It doesn't matter. I can be literally saying in my brain, don't look at the light, don't look at the light, and I'll still look at the light. It's just, I can't be the only one. But like I said, PPE is very important. And then the next thing you kind of got to make a decision on is how do you want to apply the finish? There's a couple different ways to do that. Some of it depends on the size of the piece. This isn't a very big piece, but if you're looking at a whole tabletop, getting the finish down in an efficient manner is kind of important, so you're not wasting too much time. Smaller pieces, you can literally just, and you've seen it in some of my videos, I'll just take a good old popsicle stick, which I use for my stir sticks anyways, and just kind of dip it in, slather it on, and it's fine. You start getting into bigger stuff, you can even use just a card scraper, a plastic card scraper, dump some on, kind of spread it around good. You can also use foam brush. On bigger stuff, LITE'N, who I've worked with, and they're the ones that provided me with one of my lights, they actually now sell a really good roll-on applicator. The nap on it is absolutely perfect for this. And the Pierce, who owns LITE'N, he's kind of an obsessive guy when it comes to things like this. So he spent an absurd amount of time searching for and then testing different applicators to find one that worked with what he was, worked up to his standards. And dude's standards are pretty high. So anyways, they're not expensive, but they're really good for doing big surfaces. But again, for something like this, I'm actually just gonna dump a little bit on and get after it. With this finish, you do need to give it a quick shake or stir just to make sure that there hasn't been any settling. Some of that depends on how long it's been since you opened it up. Like I said, a lot of times, smaller stuff, you'll see I just kind of smooth it on and go from there. And I'm only going to do half of this piece because I want you to be able to see the difference. Just like with any oil finish, as you spread it on, you want to actually give it a chance to absorb into the wood. If you see some areas that are starting to kind of dry out a little bit, then you can reapply some extra. But the idea is to really get it in the pores of the wood. So the more it soaks in, the better. And then once you actually got it on the piece, you want to use an actual applicator pad. Just kind of scour it in as you do with most hard wax oils. You don't want anything that's got any real grit to it, because obviously you don't want to scratch the piece. Smaller stuff, I just, I buy these things in bulk. I cut them to the size that I need. They're great. They're inexpensive. For the bigger pieces, I actually get the disc ones that I can put on my 5-inch sander and then buff it in that way. Smaller stuff, again, that, hand buffing works. So the first thing you want to do once you get the finish on, like I said, is get it spread around and then start working it in a circular manner. Everybody's at least waxed or buffed something in their life, I'm going to assume. So you kind of get the gist of what I'm doing here. But, just work it around. Make sure you really get it into all the areas. And again, as you're doing it, you start keeping an eye on it, and you'll see how the light catches it. And you can see some areas that have soaked in more than others. And, that's going to come down again to how hard parts of the wood are. This guy's got some open pores kind of along the ends, and then you see these limb inclusions in the middle where the grain tightens up a little bit. So it's going to take a little bit more to get it to soak in there. So give it a good buffing in. Make sure you got all the areas good and soaked. If you see it starting to soak in, so I don't know how much you can see from here, but this area right here is already soaked in most of what I put on. So I'll just kind of come back with a little bit extra. Don't be scared you can always scrape it off. So and the beauty of this stuff is, unless the light hits it or the sunlight comes in through the windows, it never will cure. So you can actually keep your applicator pads, if you want, in a Ziploc bag, in a drawer away from the sun, and just basically use them forever. I haven't gone that far with that kind of stuff, but mainly because these pads are inexpensive. But like I said, you can actually reuse these things over and over if you keep them in a sealed bag and out of the sunlight. So once you get it buffed in, the next step is you're just going to take I just get the blue shop towels, but any kind of heavy duty paper towel will work. And you're going to kind of wipe off the excess and then also buff as you go. And Again, the idea is just to get the excess off. The beauty of hard wax oil, whether it's UV cured or not, is it's really hard to not get this finish on right. It's super easy to apply. You don't have to worry about brush strokes or laying it on too thick, running, you know, all the things that come along with finicky traditional finishes. So it's just, for application wise, I mean, my goodness, it's a no-brainer. And then for me, more than anything, is I absolutely love the look and the feel that hard wax oil gives wood. I do not like the traditional finishes that kind of give wood that plasticky feel. I've never liked that. So again, once you've taken a paper towel and you've buffed off all the extra, the next step is to hit it with the light. I'm going to use my bigger light just for to be able to do the quick instant cure. One thing, and I know this because I may or may not have learned the hard way, but you got to be a little careful with your light. So what I'll do is take an extra paper towel and I'll cover up my applicator and my can so you don't accidentally flash the can and cure the stuff, because again, it is instant. The only reason I'm not using the LITE'N light is because I want to, get that instant cure. LITE'N, it's 5 to 7 seconds maybe. I did hear a little secret that is not so much a secret anymore, but Pierce is actually working on a new light that's about 50 times stronger and will be the equivalent of these bigger commercial lights, and so it will be full instant cure. So when that comes out, I'll definitely be able to let everybody know about it. I'm not going to go into all the pricing and stuff, but check out my other video, and that's where I kind of talk about all the different pricing. But quick blast with the light, and that's cured. So if when I run my hand across it right now, it's about 90% there. I mean, I can feel a little bit here and there where a couple little pieces kind of popped up a little bit, but I always do 2 coats. And then what I like to do between my coats is just use a maroon scour pad. Again, you can buy the sheets, you can cut them to size for your smaller stuff. When I'm doing the bigger things like the tabletops, I get the one that fits on my sander. The key with this is you're not putting a ton of pressure into it. Really, just the weight of your hand is all you need. And you're just going to lightly go around the whole piece, circular motions. And all you're doing is a light scuffing to get the second coat to adhere to the first coat. Because, once that first coat goes on, there's not really any more absorption into the wood. Now we're just trying to get the 2 coats to bond to each other. And then again, also any of those little rogue grains that maybe just didn't happen with the water popping, you're just trying to knock all those back. So no pressure at all, just the weight of my hand. I probably didn't even need to do it as much as I've done it here, but you can just take a paper towel at that point and just wipe off. There won't be much, but any of the little bit of dust that's created from that. And then you can go ahead and apply your second coat. You're going to need substantially less than you did for the first coat, because again, it's already soaked into the wood at this point. You're just kind of putting a final thin top coat on the whole thing. So you don't got to get crazy with it. Just slap a little bit on. Take your applicator. One thing I think I forgot to mention when I was doing the first coat is I do get a little aggressive as far as pushing down when I apply the first coat, because I really want to work it into the grains of the wood. But when you come back for this top coat or second coat, same thing, as with the maroon pad, just kind of the weight of your hand, just enough to be able to grab it and move it around. And whereas with the first coat, you kind of needed to give it a little bit of time to soak in. With this one, again, there's not really any soaking. You're just putting a nice little top coat on the piece. So quick scrape with that, fresh paper towel, and then you're going to buff it off just like you did the first one. And I will say it does increase the sheen a little bit once you put that second coat on. I don't know how much is coming through in the video, but it's got just a little bit, it catches the light just a little bit more than it did after the first coat. Sometimes I'll take it and just kind of either move me or the piece to try to catch the light a little bit, make sure there isn't something that I missed or anything I need to go back and clean up. The nice thing about this stuff is it's spot repairable. So even if you miss something, somehow something got embedded in, or maybe you somehow scratched something on the first coat and you didn't realize it after the second coat, it's no big deal. Just a quick sanding. A lot of times you don't even have to sand all the way through, just enough to get down to whatever the thing is and kind of even it out. And then you're good to go. So, and just these instant lights, man, it's just insane. I can't stress how nice it is to be able to be done, finished. You know, that's just, I don't know how anybody can't get on board with these finishes, especially because they're now, thanks to LITE'N done, it's easy to get into it, and it's relatively inexpensive to get into it. And the amount of time that it saves you, I mean, it's worth every penny. But the finished result is just absolute butter smooth. It's got a nice sheen to it. And right there, I mean, it's done. It's ready to go. You can, that's the end of finishing your piece. And this took all of, even after I edit some stuff out, 10 minutes. And that's with me taking my time to show a few things. Like I said, I'm super, super happy with how all this Kimavere stuff is. I'll have links below to the to some discount codes, as well as a link below to the earlier video where I go into a deep dive about the different finishes and the lights. And then, like I said, when you actually check out Kimavere, they've got some really good wood floor products. I've got white oak for the flooring in my home and 2 giant coonhounds. If you've watched my videos, you've seen my fur babies, but they are hell on floors. And some of the products from Kimavere have actually brought our floors back. I'll actually do some stuff about that in the future. But again, this was really just to show my finishing process and really announce the fact that Kimavere is now one of our main brand partners. And with rare exception, this is going to be the only finish that goes on anything I turn out of my shop, not just for my house, but for my paying customers. And that's saying something, because I charge a pretty good amount for some of the stuff that I build, and I need to have faith in what I'm putting out there. And this stuff is awesome. So thanks again for watching. Check out the links below and stay tuned. We've got some really cool stuff coming up in the future, some cool projects and some fun announcements with some other brand partners that we're working with. So thanks again for watching. This is John with Olive Grove Woodshop. Keep on building.